Hi everyone, welcome to my new blog, where I will be talking about aspects of true self-help and growth. I hope that you gain some insight out of the contents that would allow you to apply it for a cause. This first blog is about a time to know self-love and worth. In a world of societies in which all live, some are trying to find themselves, trying to find their worth and meaning. They are trying to identify as they ask the question of what does this life has for them. What are they supposed to be doing and who cares? Some people often find themselves giving out to others and seem never to be appreciated or loved. No one seems to identify their worth, and to some, they are just in companies as people pleasers. In life, everyone does experience things that may have a part in their decision making, and it is for them to be as adamant as possible to be willing to go on a path that is true to themselves. Some procedures in life are not for everybody, and everybody is not for some procedures in life. One has to try and find the true way of which they want to live, the way that they feel deep within their core that is right and comfortable, and imitations are not going to work. Years ago when I was younger, I found myself of days of searching for myself, and along the way of searching for myself, I found my true worth and self-love. I got to understand that it was time to please myself and not others, to find the source of love itself and to develop a relationship that would help me to evolve in being and direction. I do know that everyone is not on a spiritual path, but those out to find themselves have to walk a spiritual walk. Self-love and finding self-worth is all a spiritual aspect, that only you, the bearer of wanting, could understand. It is not a physical act whereas you pick up something to put it on and automatically gain self-love and knowledge of self. It is full spiritual suiting. We are all physical and spiritual beings, and there should be a balance between the two, if not one would try to overthrow the other. Gaining a true structure of self on which one can identify one's true meaning is beneficial for self-growth, to go forward in the correctness of self. I am not saying that it will be easy for some individuals. It might not be easy for a person who has their focus tainted, but for an individual who has been seasoned with spiritual terminology, it would be easy. And when one has gained that true postures and footing, they will then see that it was, in fact, easy. It only took for them to establish the true need of self, a willingness to go forward with a promise to be strong and never look back, with an understanding to know that they matter most. Sometimes going through passages in life, some individuals question themselves about causes that may occur, and some may try to blame themselves, but occurrence only occurs if someone of damaging content is present. The blame game that some individuals put on themselves needs to stop, and going forward in the search of finding self, one must forgive self and forgive all those who did them wrong. I normally forgive, forget, and send people love for a spiritual purging. I do not do it from a hollow mouth, but with true meaning from my heart. I am determined that I will not have a shadow of torment etc. around me, not for a second, minute, day, month or year. Some may say that forgetting is hard to do, and it is true, but you can forget and move on, as you put the obstacles in the past, never to think of again. Forgiving others is the framework structure to begin searching for self. Forgiveness brings a sense of peace to self like no other. That is if you forgive with true meaning from a truthful heart. So when talking about a bad experience, it would not be a backlash that would continue to constantly cause pain if spoken of, it would only be a reference, an example of the episode, and just that. Is it a long process? Yes, it is, and it depends on the maturity of mind and strength of the individual, which would make the process easier to go forward. As always, everything has a physical and spiritual function, and one must be able to identify both processes if it is out to hurt or tame, if it is making them happy or sad, or is of a true teaching method. Everything works with meaning, and it is for everyone to understand the meaning both physically and spiritually. You feed the spirit, you build the body, and you gain a true way. With hurt in the life of living, emotional tearing and emotions are of spiritual content, as I said. One works with the other, and if one is off balance, that is how the tearing will come, with emotional torment, etc. Everyone has a soft side and a serious side. It is what they communicate with, or indulges with, that can turn them on a different path. Through torment, abuse, hate, etc., individuals go about finding themselves to always put self first after God, to let Him show them a better way, a worthy way for self that would always be a help to evolve. The drama of doing this and that has slowed down, and now a lot of individuals have wakened up to see themselves as a pure loving being that needs to be treated as such. And it always starts with the individual taking the first step to decide and willing to gain that structure of themselves that is in much need, true self-love with an identity of worth that should always be applied. A lot of people get hurt and a lot of people hurt, and at the end of it all, they need to find a true helping structure, not one vulnerable with dire straits. They need to find the trueness of themselves that is within themselves, to truly go forward and see self as a self-control individual, that knows their worth and has much love for self. Not in a puff-up pride way, but in a way with much respect, care, control, maturity, and representation of self.